Hello everyone, I'm Jack Conwell, well known as the Unknown Pilot RC, but today we're going to be talking about a John Deere number 49 snowblower, how to turn it into a beast, and it is mounted on a 318 John Deere. So I'm going to be talking about how I did my snowblower. Yours may vary, of course. But one of the fascinating things is the first time I built it, 3 years ago, we just never really had any snow. And another factor is I built the first time around out of junk. Well, the problem is not too many people has the same junk pile to build things out of. So I turned around and ordered the parts off of Amazon. There's a list of those parts in the back. There's also drawings on how to make the brackets and things like that. So pay close attention, and it's going to be kind of lengthy, but hopefully it's in good enough detail. Some of the things I'm going to be showing you are the chute rotation with the electric, the relays, and things like that, and then we'll go into the auger modifications and explain quite a bit in detail about it on how to do it. Also, I'm going to be talking about the leveling system it has on it to level up your blower down on the right side. Now, one thing that's very nice when you get ready to unhook it, just unhook your 2 hydraulic hoses and your 5-prong clip for your electric and 2 pins, and drop it on your roll-around dolly and roll it under your bench. That's what I do, just to get it out of the way. Everything here's going to bolt on, except your little cylinder up there on top, that 4-inch. I've welded in on rather than bolt it, just so no bolt heads was in the chute itself. Now what we're looking at here is a 12 volt 40 RPM with a 12 millimeter shaft. It's a reversible worm gear motor, and we're seeing a number 35 stainless steel chain so it doesn't rust. And the sprocket's a 12 millimeter bore, and it's 10 tooth, and it's also a 35 chain. So you can see on the big one there, you just don't need a sprocket on it. It has a stop dog. That's where the cable originally was from, so it's nice and round. And you got your 4-inch actuator up on top, which that's pretty common stuff. You see a lot of those used. So next up, you're going to see where the stop block's located at. It has little dogs on it. It goes in and grabs that chain to keep from spinning, and it is lined up parallel with the side chute. You can also see the 5-prong trailer plug there. This is how I did my switches. They're not far enough apart, because when you have gloves on, they're a little bit hard to move. And I took a bolt out and bolted it in so we wouldn't be drilling any more holes. We want to keep everything original if we can. This is a 12 volt relay which feeds power to the switches, which it is operated by the key switch, so you don't have any loads going through the key switch, just whatever it takes to operate that relay. Now we're looking at the wiring harness that comes from the switches, from the relay, and past the motor down to the 5-prong trailer plug. So the first part of the video was for the convenience of the driver, which was me. So the second part I'm going to talk about is how to get more volume through the snowblower. So the second part of this video is how I really increase the volume going through this blower. Now I increased the RPMs of the auger by speeding up the gear setup, and I also added 2 more paddles. So when you increase the speed, it takes more power. When you add 2 more paddles, it takes more power. So you need to make sure that Your engine RPMs is running between 3450 to 3600. You can buy a hand tack. It runs about $40 from Harbor Freight. It's got a little magnetic piece of tape that goes on your dry puller, your motor, and you can check it out pretty easy. Also, make sure that you've got fresh gas in your lawnmower. You're going to need all the horsepower you can get. I also use a Gates B48 drive belt. It's the only one I haven't broke yet. Next up is how to make your paddles. You're going to duplicate this area right here. Make both paddles exactly the same. Make your 90-degree angle braces the same, and you're also going to use them to jig up where they go at on your auger. And one thing about it is when you weld them on, tack everything up, make sure everything's just correct, and go through and weld a little bit on each one of them, roll it over and weld on the other one so you don't get your auger too hot and warp it. Now, a little pointer is never run it without that shield in front of there. It will let too much air come out the front instead of going up your chute. By adding 2 more paddles, think of this as your fan system, which increase the velocity quite a bit. By speeding up the auger, it increases the fan speed also. And one of the main thing it does is it takes smaller bites per revolution, and where you went in and reblowed your snow to move it on over snow that's already been blowed, it'll chew it up really good and spit it out. You'll notice the difference in that. Another thing is it really likes wet snow now. In fact, it likes any kind of snow. If you can get it into the throat, you can blow it. But one of the things is the throat's not as big as a 2-stage blower, but now we got the speed of the fan that really throws that stuff out now, so it makes a big difference in it. And it all goes back to the amount of power that you have to present to it. All John Deere 49 blowers has a bushing on the right side for leveling up the blower, but not like this one. This is what I made years ago. It's an eccentric bushing and a bracket on the outside with a straight bolt running all the way through, and just rotate that bushing and level the blower up, and then tighten that bolt up pretty tight. The majority of my snow blowing was sidewalks, and it was nearly impossible to keep the original bolt in there tight. I went through a couple different eccentric bushings that I made to go in there before, and this is the only thing I found out it would stay tight in there. But it takes me about 3 to 8 hours, depending on the snow, to clear those off. And as you very well know, you hit those chunky sidewalks, it just stops you dead in your tracks, so that tends to want to loosen that up. Now here's 200-pound John Deere weights bolted together, and one bolt holds them onto the tractor. And you can see a chain across the handles, so I just use an overhead hoist to pick it up and put it on that little dolly you see setting on the concrete down there, and roll them underneath the bench out of the way. Here's a list of the Amazon parts I used on this blower. The use of a roller chain is not anything new. Big blowers has used it for years, but in this case it really cleaned the blower up, made it easy to unhook. So coming up here, you're going to see the brackets laid out. You can cut the holes this size and everything should work just fine. Drawings coming up here too, so just Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. It may have inspired you just a little bit to kind of do something, but this is what I did to mine. It would just kind of help you out if you ever want to do anything like this. And coming up is a video from last year where I was blowing snow with it. And you can kind of hear how doggy that thing is. It's just old gas. The gas is 6 months old or anywhere close to that. You just need to get it out. It'll be a chainsaw, lawnmower, or whatever. Anyway, have a good day and thanks for watching. And again, I hope you enjoyed it. This is Jack Conwell saying goodbye.